And then if you've now at this point, you're saying if you've had 10 showings and no one's made an offer, we have a problem.
Right.
And then if you've sat on the market 3 to 4 weekends, we have a problem. So all along that time period, we stay in very close contact with our sellers. So they don't call us a month in and say, why isn't my house selling?
Houston, we have a problem. Well, welcome back, Jennie, to the Hamiltons Unlocked, where I am Scott and you are
Jennie Hamilton.
Yes. And we also have a real estate sales team in Metro North Atlanta, where we help buyers and sellers sell homes.
That's right. So today's topic is something that we hear all the time from other agents, from clients, from random people. And the question is, why isn't my house selling?
Yeah. In fact, it's interesting because I feel like we're hearing more from other real estate agents lately that are asking us, hey, will you look at our house? Look at this home that I have listed. Why is it not selling?
Yeah.
I had a conversation with an agent the other day that stopped me and he said, hey, Scott, I wanted to get your perspective on, I've got all these homes. Are your houses selling?
Right.
And that is becoming much more of a conversation than it has been in years past.
Right. So yeah, past 5 years wasn't really a problem to say, why isn't my house selling? And really prior to that, it was always in the back of people's minds, right? Like, why isn't my house selling? But it wasn't super unusual that a house, 1 out of 4 would not perform as in close its first time on the market, right? It would take 1 or 2 listing periods to sell 25% of homes. And I think because that became not the norm, and now it feels such a big deal now when a house isn't selling.
Right. Yeah.
So let's talk through what are things that give the reasoning behind why the house isn't selling. What can agents do? What can sellers do? Like, who really has control of this market?
Yeah. Well, I think you kind of have to clarify a couple of things. When a house isn't selling, what most sellers and buyers think is, oh, it didn't sell in the first weekend. We're not in those days anymore. So now we've kind of reset the market to where...
Well, you say that, but I'm going to interrupt you and say that a couple of our listings this year did in fact sell in the first weekend.
Now that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
I mean more of an average market as a whole.
Sure.
Where are we? What's the temperature?
Right.
Not hyper local in one specific area,
Sure.
but like more as the Metro Atlanta area.
Yeah. So I think the thing is that because it can happen, it feels weird when it's not happening for you. So it's like, why is my house not selling and the neighbor down the street? I mean, we had a listing recently in a neighborhood, and there was one on the market, and it had been on the market for like 90 days. And you talked to the agent and it was just like not moving. They weren't getting showings. We were concerned about our listing, but we got it ready for the market. We priced it correctly, and it actually sold in multiple offers in the first weekend. And so those people are going to look at their agent, right? Or look at their neighbors or look at each other and say, why isn't our house selling?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it comes down to what I call, I know you just love this. This is my triangle, right? And the truth is everything in real estate comes back to this triangle, and the triangle, the 3 corners that are represented are price, condition, and location. And they have to come together to create a perfect triangle in order for a house to sell. So
What was a perfect triangle called back in math days?
I have no clue. Like, not even.
Where's my son?
Acute is like little and obtuse or something.
Wasn't there like an isosceles and
There
like
is. It's something. We should look it up later, or someone let us know what the triangle is
like
called.
the off-balance triangle.
No, we don't want the off-balance.
We don't want the
triangle.
off-balance,
No,
but that's what
triangle.
happens in real estate when a
That's
property
right.
isn't selling.
I want like the pyramid, like the perfect triangle. And so the 3 points are price, location, and condition. And when they don't line up perfectly, a house sits on the market, essentially, right? So it's okay, the location, it is where it is typically, but that's still important. And then, but the pieces that people often get wrong are the condition of the property doesn't match the price doesn't match the condition, right? And so then
Price doesn't match the location.
Exactly. Like something is off within this triangle, and how to get it back on track is really how you sell a house.
Yeah.
So I know the thing that you're going to say that sells all houses. Just go ahead and tell us what that thing
It's
is.
okay. It's the triangle, and
Right.
every point is price, price, and price.
Right. Yeah. Your triangle is just literally price all around. And I can, to an extent, get on board with that. However, I do think there are ways to improve condition in order to, bring out that price, right? And so when a home is not selling, the nuts and bolts of it is one of those three things is off, right? One of those, and how to get it back on track as quickly as possible is what's important.
Yeah.
One way we do that is through feedback.
Right.
All right. That's a word we use all the time. But explain to everyone what feedback means.
Yeah. So we have showings. Let's say we have 10 showings and we haven't had an offer. If I can't bring you an offer, I want to be able to bring you the feedback. So on your triangle, we had a house recently where we thought location, price, condition, all lined up great. And the feedback we kept getting from people about the location was they didn't love the pond in the backyard and some of the other features of the property. It was a little too steep that we thought, because it was private,
we're selling features
and we're selling features. So the reality was that location actually now didn't match the price.
Right.
So we have to make an adjustment. The condition of the house is the condition of the house. Are we getting feedback that, hey, the bathrooms are going to need to be updated. The kitchen is a little tired. Some of your maintenance items are old. If those things are off also, now guess what? Do we redo those things or do we make an adjustment on the price? Because now the condition isn't matching the price. But we're getting feedback so we can come to our sellers and say, hey, this is the feedback that we're getting. Here's the plan. Now what do we do?
Right. And so what you're looking for in feedback is patterns. What are people saying? And I think there's two things. First, no showings equals no feedback equals feedback.
That's right. Yes, exactly.
The fact that no one's even walking in the door of your house, even for funsies, is a problem.
The market, as we say, is always speaking.
It is.
And silence is like speaking really loudly.
That's right. And so that being said, when people come through the door getting that feedback, and I think a lot of agents don't spend time getting the feedback, right? Because frankly, it's a little bit, I won't say it's annoying, but like getting anyone in this world to respond to you when they don't get anything out of that is difficult, right?
Well, we are bulldogs about getting
that's right
feedback.
We won't stop ever.
Well, and because sometimes it's a conversation with an agent. Maybe the buyer has an issue with the condition or the location, and it's just an objection that we can overcome. Or maybe it's the price. And hey, for this price, if the house wasn't here, if it was here, we'd purchase it.
Right.
And we can at least take that to our seller and say, hey, and motivate them to bring an offer.
Right.
Because our sellers, ready to deal with that.
And I think it's important when it's, why is my house not selling? I mean, because our sellers will look at us if that's the case. And the only way you can know beyond what right? Like your expertise is to ask the buyers. And asking the wrong questions during feedback, like, if I'm texting or calling an agent who's shown a house, they've shown 10 houses, and I'm like, hey, what do your clients think of 123 Main Street? They probably don't know what house you're talking about. B, if they do, they probably don't remember the exact feedback. And C, if their clients have moved on to something else, they're focused on that. They don't care about you anymore. So your text is likely going to get either completely ignored or wasn't the right fit. Thanks for letting me show. Right. And that's just not helpful for you as a seller. So we know how to ask the correct questions. First of all, we're letting them know the exact house. We're putting pictures of it and links like, hey, you may remember the one with the so-and-so, right? So that they engage you. We also call them by their first name. We don't make it seem like a, generic text message. And then once we get them back engaged with us, they'll normally blow us off if it's not the house. But then we know, hey, is there a price at which your client would buy this house? Or is it just not the right one?
Yeah.
Right? Because again, that matters. Was it the price? Was it the condition? And you're looking for feedback. And if you're not getting that feedback from those agents because your agent isn't doing the work to get it, or because people they're so disinterested that they don't even respond, then you have to really look at price, because that is the best and quickest lever that you can pull in order to get your
and
your home
maybe
moved.
The condition is an issue that we see the pattern. Of the 10 feedbacks, we've had 7 people say the same thing. Well, maybe it makes more sense for us to just say, hey, time out, Mr. Seller, let's get that taken care of.
Yeah.
We didn't think that was going to be an issue, or you didn't think it was an issue. Let's go ahead and get that room painted, or that, the AC fixed, or whatever the issue that keeps coming up, preventing somebody from making an offer.
Right.
So it can be a condition fixed before we go to price.
That's right.
But it's always usually going to come back to, all right, what's the number that's going to get this thing moved.
And also, once you've already had 10 to 15 people through the house, I mean, those were going to be probably your best and most qualified buyers, and you've lost that opportunity.
Yeah.
So even if you fix the condition, they may not come back
It's
through.
no different than a retail store. I mean,
Yeah.
you walk into, what is this brand?
Vineyard Vines.
Vineyard Vines. Shout out Vineyard Vines. They should sponsor.
Again, yes,
me
you keep
again.
doing that.
But anyway, you go into Vineyard Vines. If they've got product that's not moving on the shelf because they have it listed at $120 a shirt,
Yeah.
and nothing's moving, what are they going to do?
Yeah, they have to discount it.
They're going to discount it. They're going to get it to a price that, okay, this feels like this matches with what I'd be willing to spend and pay for that shirt.
Right. It's not that you don't like the shirt. You don't like the shirt at that price.
Yeah, I don't like the shirt at that price.
And that's what you got to figure out. Is it the house? Like, no. And no, because there are plenty of houses we've walked in and I'm like,
Totally.
I wouldn't pay $1 for that house because it's not.
I'd pay $1.
Okay. Well, I'm saying for that buyer, right? They're like, it's just not the right fit. It just won't work in any world for the needs that they have. And that's, it could be a great house, priced right.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't work for that buyer. That's what you have to understand. And you're looking for those patterns. So how quickly should sellers respond to the market when their house isn't selling?
Yeah, great question. We would have told people during COVID days, if we don't have this thing under contract in the first weekend, we have a problem.
Right.
Right.
What are the stats today?
So, and that was, 3 showings was going to bring us 1 offer.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've moved back into a little bit more of a balanced market almost, if you will. But so if we can get you 7 to 10 showings, that should get you an offer.
How quickly?
And that's gonna take now 2 to 3 weeks on average. That's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Now the overall market I think is a little bit longer, but in our listings, it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks to get that house sold. And if not, we need to make an adjustment on price.
Yeah. So kind of a thing you're looking at is, have you gone 10 days without any showings? That is a huge problem,
Yeah.
right? You go 10 days, no showings. We're so priced out, so out of the ballpark that no one's even bothering to come through.
Right.
And then if you've now at this point, you're saying if you've had 10 showings and no one's made an offer, we have a problem.
Right.
And then if you've sat on the market 3 to 4 weekends, we have a problem. So all along that time period, we stay in very close contact with our sellers. So they don't call us a month in and say, why isn't my house selling? Right?
Houston, we have a problem.
We do.
Yeah.
And so we stay in really close contact with our sellers because you cannot let the market get ahead of you. You've got to reposition as quickly as possible to have the best shot at getting the most money and the best terms.
That's
so
right.
if you're wondering, why isn't my house selling? Well, we will tell you.
We will.
We will. Yes. And if your agent's not getting you feedback, then push on them to do so or get an agent who will, because that is going to be key to understanding why your house isn't selling.
That's right.
You got to ask. So thank you guys for joining us this week on the Hamilton's Unlocked, and we will see you next time.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jenny. See you next time.